Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Just a little bit of information about this photo that you're looking at. It's actually taken in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada. Just a little bit ways off from Toronto. And it was just before a day, I'm not sure exactly which day, but it was the day when it started to rain, just a little while after I took this picture. And just now you're hearing the rain in Costa Rica. Okay, everybody, so thank you for joining me for another non-conformity video against the government. So today's, in particular, this video is about the marriage and understanding what marriage is, what marriage is really, and what marriage is in what it is. It's an institution. It's an organized institution. So it's part of society. And society the does no longer works. You know, we've been in society and with governments and so forth for the last, 100 or so years, more than 100 years. And because now it's 2020, so maybe 200 years or so. And realize that society no longer works. We've tried everything, we did everything, we elected new politicians, and still, society as a whole that really is not changing anything for the better. We're not living in the Garden of Eden. And so societies and cities we have to forego those and forego everything that our institution or our society, like institutions, just forego all of it. Um, so marriage in general is, and this is particularly to people who say that we have a right to marriage, like gay people or other types of people, different genders and different sexual orientations have a right to be married in society. And it's like, to me, that kind of doesn't make sense because they question things. A lot of different so-called different people question things, even though I see everyone as basically the same, equal. I don't, you know, I don't see it as I'm gonna become free. Like, marriage is another form of enslavement by the government, and the government and religious institutions to, conform, to make us conform. And it's another way to keep us stuck in the system. Now, it's enslavement because of the fact that they know everything that you do. You basically are registered and certified under the government. Now, particularly, I don't want anything to do with the government as much as I possibly can. I don't want anything to do with religious, organized religions, or any of this for that matter, because they're part of the whole problem, which is the herding culture. And the herding culture is seeing non-human animals as property, as food, and as other things, and for other things, testing, entertainment, clothing, etc. And we understand when we conform, we're really not free. Why would we want our privacy invaded? People say they have nothing to hide and they want to they want to openly have, gay marriage. And I say no to anyone, not just, gay marriages, but to anyone having, institutionalized marriages. Now, if you want to have marriage between your family and your friends and don't involve the government and religions, perfect. You can do that. You can have your own sacred ceremony, or you can just live together and be happy the rest of your life. That is the best thing because you're not conforming to governments. So it's invasion of our privacy. Now people say again, oh, I don't have anything to hide, but would you like your house to be monitored all the time and have the video on TV 24 hours and have it on internet 24 hours for everybody to see? And majority of people would say no, because I need my privacy. And that's just what the government is doing. When you sign away your name and you sign away, since birth, when your mother or father signs away your birthright for your citizenship and for your passport and for your driver's license and all this kind of stuff that we have to do, basically you're taking away more and more of your freedoms. So my idea, and unfortunately I have a credit card, and unfortunately I have a bank card, and unfortunately I still have a passport and all these things, but as much as possible I want to get away from ever being involved with governments or society. Now, unfortunately, I use money, I use the passport, I use all this stuff because that's just what we need to do, and that's what people think. We just need to do that because that's where we live in. We live in society, we live in cities, we live in this and that, and we need to make the system better or make the governments better. And it's like, not really. What we need to do is slowly but surely walk away from the system, walk away from governments, and to denounce little by little all our non-self ownership, because really we're sovereign individual human beings, so we have the right to own our own bodies. No one else has the right to own our bodies. We are also we have the birthright to clean water. We have the birthright to our fair share of clean water, land, and plant foods and seed. So we have the fair share to land, water, plant foods, and seed. We are sovereign. Our birthright is as we are sovereign individual human beings. So we have no right to be told what to do with our bodies. We have no right, unless it, of course, harms collectively other beings. And we have no right to be told what to do if it doesn't harm other beings again. And so, if we're conforming to mainstream, to institutionalize marriages and governments and religions and all these things, we're kind of doing the total opposite from what we should be doing, which is really to non-conform. We understand that governments lie, steal, cheat, and enslave us. So why should we have anything to do with them? Now I understand some people saying, oh, and they're protesting and saying, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, what he's talking about. Governments have had improved laws over the decades, and they give people welfare checks, and they give people relief funds, and they give people retirement money and all this stuff so people can live and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, they do some good. I'm not saying everybody's bad, I'm not saying all and every single police officer is a bad person. And I'm not saying every single politician is a bad person. I mean, I love everyone for that matter. But it's some of these people's actions that are not morally ethical, and they're just violent. These people are violent, and they take violent actions. And to understand that in the whole totality, as a general, the government, police, marriages, religions, etc., 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 overall, they're not here for our best interests. We have to look within ourselves for the answers, and to nature also. And nature is also within us as well. And we need to walk away slowly from our society and governments, and to understand that they no longer serve us, and to educate people on why, and to join us as a human being species. I mean, thousands of years ago, there was no governments. We were living more peacefully with nature and the environment, and and with other animals and humans. And now it's not like that. Now it's not like that at all. We can see that there's more problems in the world. But thousands of years ago, people can argue every which way. Thousands of years ago, we were more barbaric. There were more wars and violence and things like that. And it's like, well, we can think whatever we want. All we need to do is we need to get back to a similar world to that of a Garden of Eden. The utopian world is what we really need to get back to. So that means that we need to live out in nature, away from societies and cities, because those things don't work any longer. They have never worked. We can do all kinds of reforming. We can vote for all kinds of different politicians, and we'll still have the same system, which is based on the herding culture, based on seeing other animals, non-human animals, as property, as food, and as other things, testing and entertainment and clothing and so forth. So will not get better until two things happen. Again, until we stop consuming animals, stop seeing non-human animals as property, as things to be used, and to step away from anything to do with our culture, with our governments, all that, and including marriages. If we want to have a personal, private wedding by ourselves or with our families and friends, hey, go for it. If there's no governments and no religion involved, go for it. And I'm talking about institutionalized religion here, like organized religions. I'm not talking about some kind of spiritual practice or things, good things coming from the Bible or other good things coming from different religions, but I'm talking about actually like conforming to the whole religious institution of walking down that silly aisle that we always do, and nobody questions anything. They just keep doing the same thing, wearing the white dresses, wearing this, wearing that. I personally, if I was getting married, and of course, if I was getting married, I would do it. First of all, I don't want to get married at all. I don't want to have a big hooey-hi with thousands or even hundreds of people. I want to basically be just with the person I want to be with, just with the soulmate I want to be with. And that's it. I mean, yeah, if I want to have a couple friends over, a few friends over and family, okay, we'll have a get together and we'll have dinner or whatever. But I don't want to show off someone like she's a possession of mine, because that's not what I want. Because people are not possessions of ours. I mean, they might be, she or he or whoever might be part of me or with me, but they're not mine. So I don't own anything. I don't own anyone. So that's the thing. And I don't want to see anyone as like I own them. Even though, of course, I do say sometimes like, oh, you're my sweetheart or you're my whatever, like that's just because there's not enough words to express what we want to say. And so the whole idea is to start questioning everything. Okay, this comes down to questioning again about marriages, about religions, about institutions, all institutions, about governments and police, the police force, everything. Okay? And to understand that we need to walk away from all that stuff. We need to walk away from wearing makeup. We need to walk away from wearing all kinds of piercings and putting tattoos on our body temple. All kinds of things that are not in our best interests. Not in our best interests at all. So let's start walking away, going more into nature, being nonconformists and anarchists as much as we possibly can, learning about all this, and then when we're confident, actually going out there and just standing our ground. Exercising our birthrights. Again, as sovereign individual human beings, and with the birthright to fair share of land, water, seed, and plant foods. So that is my message for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and give this video a thumbs up if you really liked it. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and to my email newsletter, everybody. I love you all. And don't forget to get my books to learn more about this, and also learn more about the government conspiracies and all that stuff in my book, Our Path to Freedom. So Our Path to Freedom talks a lot about this. And eventually there's going to be another book on this as well. Okay? So I have actually created just recently a small, short audio book called The Journey to Awakening with ambient music by Moby. So you'll actually find this very enlightening. It's through Bandcamp that you're able to purchase it and listen to it. And it's going to be listed, or it's going to be posted down below the link. So check the description for that. It's called The Journey to Awakening. And basically it talks more about this, a little bit more. It's something like 25 minutes in length. And it's basically, yeah, talking more about this in general and more in detail, and about why we really need to, like, what are the main issues that we're facing, and how we can, like, why we need to, like, walk away from this society and just live in nature, basically. Because nature is therapeutic. Nature is where we're supposed to be living and being, not in these closed, houses. Even though, yeah, it's great to be living in houses when it rains or whatever, and shelters when it rains or whatever. But even that, like, when it rains, we should be enjoying the rain. We should be going out there and, walking around naked and being free. But our society doesn't see it that way. Our society just sees, nakedness as a bad thing, and living freely on the earth as a bad thing, and not conforming to governments and paying taxes and whatever, a bad thing. And if you don't get married and you don't have children, it's a bad thing. And it's like, wait a minute. I beg your pardon? I mean, what? So that's all I have today for you, folks. You can comment on that. No hateful comments, but let's have a great discussion. And yeah, so thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone.